Hi, thanks for joining in. I'm Steph Davis, and Osprey very kindly let me take over their story feed for a little bit here today. And if you don't know me, I work with Osprey, and my main sports are rock climbing, base jumping, and trail running. So first, I just wanted to tell you which packs I'm using right now all the time, and this Mutant 52 is pretty much my main climbing pack. You can see it's a little bit, a little bit used, and I have the smaller one too, but I don't like packing very carefully, so I love having the big pack and just being able to toss everything in it all the time. So this one's really great, and that's the one I use pretty much all the time. I also have this Daylight fanny pack, which is actually a really great fanny pack for a lot of things, but I've designated it as my base jumping kit. When I base jump, I always have a fanny pack with me that I jump with, and the reason is that I like to put my emergency devices in the front, my little radio, my inReach. I always have my cell phone in there too, which is now duct taped to a ladder here in my kitchen, so that's not in here. And then I just have a really small medical kit and some pretty minimalistic climbing gear in case I get stuck on a wall or have to deal with something. And then my other two super favorite packs right now are the Dina 1.5. This thing is amazing. I love this. Just a little hydration running pack. And it's really small and light, but you can stuff quite a bit of stuff in here. This is actually, I'm not paranoid, I just like to be prepared. This is actually a little dog carry sling that I always keep inside here just for in case my dog ever gets like a hurt leg or something and I have to really carry her out. So that always stays in here. And then just the right amount of water for minimalistic running. And then I also have this one, which actually carries the same amount of water, but it's a bigger pack, so I can put more clothes in it, and I can actually stash extra water bottles in here if I need to. And this is the Dina 6. So these are my daily packs right now. But what I really am here today to talk to you about is food, because that's what I like to put in my packs. Let me just move my ladder a little bit. This is what you do when you don't have a camera person. You duct tape your phone to a ladder. So yeah, I was talking to my friends at Osprey, and we were talking about food, and I was telling them that I really like making my own protein balls nowadays, because I love all sorts of bars, anything that's easy to grab. I like to bring dried fruit, nuts, sometimes real food when I go out, but I also just kind of like mixing it up. So I've been starting to play with making different sorts of protein balls, and I wanted to walk you through what I've been doing recently, because it's actually really easy and pretty fun and saves money too. So ideally you would have a food processor, and then what I do is I take a total of 2 cups of nuts, and this is pretty interesting. I actually started researching this, didn't know this before, but it turns out that peanuts, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and sesame seeds have much higher protein levels than, I guess, what I would call the fancy nuts, which would be almonds, pecans, walnuts, cashews. So what I've been doing recently is, honestly, peanuts aren't my favorite nut, but they have a lot higher protein, so I'm just kind of committing a little more to peanuts. And so this is a mix of 2 cups of assorted nuts, and I'm just going to throw them in the food processor. Okay, watch out, this is going to be really loud. And just kind of like smash them up. That's probably good. And then, it doesn't matter if they're really fine ground. They can have chunks in there. It's totally up to you. You can pulverize them. You can leave it pretty chunky. And then I go ahead and take those out of the food processor, put them into a bowl. And then the next thing I do is I take a total of 6 dates and 6 figs, and I chop them up a little bit first, and then put them in the food processor. And then I'm just going to add in a third of a cup of soy milk. We might put more. I made my own, but you don't have to do that. And then a splash of vanilla, probably like half a teaspoon. And then I do like having some salt in these things. I don't want it just to be all sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and put, this is probably like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, but this is all to your taste, That's the beauty of making these things. It's exactly how you want it to be. So what I usually do when I put something chunky in a food processor with a liquid, I have learned the hard way, is I make a little towel curtain because things can get messy. Okay, so the whole point of these things is protein. And that's why, we have a bunch of nuts. We're kind of leaning more heavily on the super protein nuts, a little bit of soy milk. But the next thing that I'm going to do is put in some protein powder. And I always like mixing my protein powders. I really like the gnarly vegan powder a lot, the vanilla, and this is what I usually use when I make protein shakes. But again, I just want to mix it up because I think that's what's fun. So I'm going to do a total of half a cup of protein powder, but I'm just gonna mix these ones that I have. So I have the gnarly, which is super nice, so I'll start with that. And then I have this pumpkin seed protein powder. It's just nothing but crushed up pumpkin seeds, which is really nice. And then I also have this pea protein, and I'm gonna put that in too. And again, this is totally up to you, If you like it to be a lot sweeter, I would suggest doing all of the vanilla protein powder. If you don't like sweet, you might just want to go with only the pumpkin protein. What I like about these things is I like making them different all the time because I don't like to just eat the same thing. So every time I make them, I'll do something a little bit different. So let's go ahead, smash all this up. Pretty good. Okay, so that's basically it, because now all I have to do is scrape this stuff out, mix it with the nuts, and then you just make little balls out of it. And I find they do better if you keep them in the fridge. Well, I am in Moab and it's 102 degrees, so there is that. But usually if I'm storing them at home, I try to keep them in the fridge. But I will just use like little leftover bags from the nuts if I want to take them out climbing or take them out hiking, and just put a bunch in my pack lid. And Cajun likes them too, so you can share it with your dog, because there's nothing in here that's bad for dogs. There's no chocolate or anything. There. So this is the part where you get a little workout, because you kind of have to like mash it all up. If I was a real cooking show, I would have another bowl right next to me where it was already mixed in. And then I would be like, oh. I guess this is just how we learn, right? I already think I'm doing really well with the taping my phone to the ladder today. I'll get better. So yeah, the really great thing about these, like I said, is you can just make them any way you want. If you like chocolate, go ahead and use chocolate protein powder. I have put cacao chips in them before, because cacao is a really good superfood. And if I do the cacao chips, I think they call them nibs, I always smash those up in the beginning with the nuts just to make sure that they're going to be pulverized pretty well. So, wow, everybody's writing comments. I wish I could stop and answer them, but I think that's going to be complicated while I'm trying to make these protein balls. But yeah, I mean, relative to protein, I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different eating style, obviously. I don't eat animal protein, and I generally don't feel like I lack protein in my diet. But that being said, I'm always kind of attentive to it. And so if I've had a hard workout, I will drink a gnarly shake. And then when I take food out for the day, I do kind of try to keep some awareness to make sure there's protein in the food that I'm eating. And that's why I like to make these balls and take them out. So now we have kind of a little a big bowl full of stuff. And all you have to do is just scoop out enough to roll up a ball, and there you go. Just roll them all up and put them in your bowl, and then you can snack on these. You can take them out climbing. I did one time because I was kind of curious. I did actually sit there and add up how much protein was in every single ingredient, and then I counted how many balls I had made, which I usually make them about this big. And I did calculate that, especially if I use mostly peanuts and pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds and sesame seeds, I got 3 grams of protein per ball. So that's pretty good, because I think people always consider eggs a really nice protein source, and I think there's 6 grams of protein in an egg. So you just eat 2 of these balls and you're already there. And I usually end up eating probably more of them. So yeah, I hope that you guys will try this. I think it's really easy, really fun, and great source of nutrition when you're out in the trails or out in the mountains. And I hope you guys stay safe and have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Bye.